Hello, Michael Ringtail here. I often find with communities there are all these stupid unspoken rules. An enforcement of conformity that always relates to usually group minorities within the community being ridiculed or ostracized based on certain tastes, looks, views on moral and political issues, whatever they may be. Often I find apathy towards big picture topics that actually matter, and then ultimately, cliques form with these small little groups that usually hang out in the same place, talking shit about whoever is not there, and then you have people who want to be part of the group compromising their individuality so that they can fit in more, holding back when the majority may agree to bad ideas and practices. This is when you get groups overcomplicating things and elevating labels to include a lot more of unwanted baggage. Atheism, as an example, is not believing in a god, a higher power beyond understanding. That's it. Doesn't mean anything beyond that. Doesn't mean you worship Satan. I could go on and on about examples, but there's no need to. Let's pick something even easier. Anime fan. You like cartoons that are generally of the Japanese variety. That's it. No need to prove to anyone how much of a fan you are. No need to disregard priorities to catch up on the latest anime in order to have something to talk about with the group you are with. There is no real fan. To be a real fan, you just have to like something such as blowjobs. Some people like blowjobs a lot. Some don't and prefer rim jobs. That's just how it is. If you're an atheist, all you have to do is not be convinced there is a higher power. Don't let any of these pricks tell you what a true atheist has to do in order to be an atheist. You can be one of those quiet types that bury your head in the sand while fundamentalists change the world around you to better suit the demands of their superstition and limit your freedom. Have at it, Hoss. Just be ready to argue and prove your point why it's important to not give a shit about the world outside your vicinity. Based on my personal experience, history, acquaintances, and friends, you should be free to think however you like. Bad ideas will be quelled when it comes to the reality of ethics. To me, what is most important when it comes to a belief is why you believe in that belief. I would not be an atheist if I didn't care about the why. I'd still be a little obedient lemur going to monkey church and worshiping the great Caesar. When I realized the arguments against him were more grounded to observable evidence than reality, and that his so-called miracles are just mere assertions without evidence, is when I was able to dismiss him as a deity, as so many other of my kind has, and your kind has when it comes to Jesus.
Christopher Hitchens described this as the fundamental rules of logic, that positive claims require positive evidence, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and what is presented without evidence can be dismissed without evidence.
Well, let's get back to this community bullshit, though. There is a difference between rallying behind an idea and rallying behind a group of people. People get a sense of validation when they are part of a group, even if it means they have to follow things they don't necessarily agree with. 20 years ago, gay marriage was not something that was accepted. The consensus from the people were that it shouldn't be legal, and many were afraid to say otherwise for fear of being ostracized by their communities. Even if you find yourself alone, if you believe and have a good reason to believe an idea is good or bad, express yourself on it, even in the face of oblivion. I think it earns a lot more respect, even if you are wrong, because that kind of person may just as well be willing to change their viewpoint when they are proven wrong, if they are able to separate themselves from a mob mentality, that is. If you are able to do that, then your initial opinion on something, such as gay marriage for example, may have changed because the evidence and reality that was brought forth by people who were all for it to begin with convinced you otherwise. It's all right to be wrong. It's when you fight for an idea and ignore the reality that says otherwise that you may lose yourself in order to be part of that concept of community. And with that being said, I'm Michael Ringtail. Good night!